Welcome back, and here's our project for today. So my Altima has leather seats, which are actually kind of nice, but there are some problems with my front leather seats. There's a bit of damage over there. Right here we see some more damage on the leather. It's kind of ripping. I have this nice bit right here, came like this. There's also a split right along the seam. This is what it actually looks like. And I tried to repair this with some leather repair tape that you can find anywhere. And this is the closest I could get to what I thought was just like an average tan color, but it's very kind of light and yellow. I couldn't, so far I haven't been able to find anything better, and I'm not really a big fan of the end result here. And it wouldn't stick here at all. I cleaned this area, I stuck it here, and it just came apart. It wouldn't stick down here, even though I had it all nice and trimmed to match. So the solution here is to find a replacement. And what I have is actually got a set of leather Altima seats from a junkyard. And here they are. Actually, it's just a little bit different than mine. I'm not sure if the color's matching or what. And there's this little different bit right here. But anyway, of course, they are Altima seats, and they should work. One thing I will say is that when I picked them up from the junkyard, they had a lot of grease all over them, and I was really disappointed. I mean, big old black grease, automotive grease. I wasn't sure that would work, but I got some of this right here, Meguiar's Leather and Vinyl Cleaner. And I got this because if you look at the car section in most stores, there's lots of like conditioners and leather sprays and stuff, but not all of them say cleaner. So I got the Meguiar's Cleaner, and it actually did a pretty darn good job in the places where there were big areas of grease. So just with an applicator here and a lot of scrubbing over and over and over, did a pretty good job on that. Now the tricky thing here is, if you look at my car, I have a manual seat. How do I have a leather interior and a manual seat? I don't know. That's just what the guy had that sold it to me. But if you look around for leather seats, you're probably going to find ones with a power seat. Will that work? What can I do? Well, anyway, that's my challenge for this project. Now the first issue will be removing the original seat to see what I have here. So I just have to pop off these little plastic covers. They just pop right off, pretty easy. And you can find a lot of videos about removing seats from an Altima, and pretty much any car is about the same. You've got a bolt right here, and you can see it's a 16 millimeter, so 16 millimeter hex nut. And there's also a Torx opening in the middle as well. So hex or Torx, then that's what you'll need. With these little covers here, you're going to want to pull this up. That kind of snaps in there. It'll take a bit of force, but it'll pop up. Just pull that one up right there, and then you should be able to just kind of slide this off. And there's that other lovely Torx nut. Now the problem comes in the back. I've removed this piece here, and what you'll see here is just a Torx nut. No hex around it, or the standard socket. Just a Torx nut. And it's fairly large. It's a T50. This is a T50. The annoying thing is that most Torx sets only come to T40. There's the T40 right there. And so I really had a hard time. In fact, it was impossible to find any existing set that went up to a T50. So you'll have to go out and probably buy your own T50 to fit right in there and get that one out. But now I've got a T50 just for this purpose. So let's get these nuts out. In case you're wondering, I have disconnected the negative terminal to my battery because, of course, underneath here we've got plugs in for the airbags in the seats. I was thinking it probably wouldn't be a problem because I'm just removing it and not going to be turning the car on. But so many things online, did a little bit of research, suggested always disconnect the battery before doing anything with airbags so you don't get some type of error or anything. So the battery's been disconnected. I'm going to remove the bolt front and rear. and then look at disconnecting the electrical connections here and removing this seat and see what we have. Alright, so here's the last nut. By the way, since it does have that Torx in the middle and is a T50 right there, I tried that, but it wasn't really budging, and I didn't want to, I don't know, mess it up. So I just used my main socket here, and I was able to pop that off. All 4 of the nuts came off without too much problem. I'm not that strong, and I was able to pop them free with a little bit of force, and then of course they're okay. So yeah, removing the nuts is all right. And oddly enough, it's a little rusty, this mounting plate. The thing to do now is to tilt the whole thing back and look underneath. It's also a good time to see what's been living under your seat there for a while without your knowledge. And wow, I really had no idea there'd be a quarter there. How about that? So all kinds of surprises. Now, remember, the battery's been disconnected for a few minutes now, and these are the connections. So I've got just, you know, the standard manual seat right here in the front, and of course we have connections for the airbags. We see this white and this yellow one right here. Well, here's the crazy thing about that. I removed this from the other seat, and you see where the junkyard just cut it from the car. But I pulled these off. It looks like the exact same plugs that go into the power seat, the electric seat, as what I'm seeing right here on my non-powered seat. So here's the trick. What's going to happen when I plug those in? Well, here are the 2 seats. There we go, shadow went away. How about that? The new one, my old one, both from an 08 Altima. Leather feels a little bit different. You see my terrible patchwork. We come to the back. So, should all be the same. Color is a little different. Maybe no one will notice. The main thing is this part right here is different for some reason from mine. The question is, of course it'll fit, but will the power part work? So with the seat out, I took an opportunity to vacuum, because they're, you know, get stuff you can't normally get. Did a little vacuum, a little carpet cleaning out here that you can't really do when the seat's in. So now I've got the new seat, and the idea here is to, you can see there's the motorized part, you know, for the electric seat. Let's just plug these in right where they're supposed to go, hook the battery back up, and see what happens. And it doesn't work. You know, I halfway thought this would work. Since it plugs in just the same and there's no other power on the seat, I really thought this might do the job. But I could bolt it in, but of course can't move it. So the next step is going to be, since I can't just pop the seat in, removing the leather covering on the cushion. So I guess I'm missing something here, but these were the 2 plugs I had put in. And of course you see the motors here for the power seat. I checked a bunch of things, looked if there's a missing fuse or something, but it also appears there's a plug here in this motor and a plug here in this motor. And maybe that's where they're getting the power. So I don't have the wiring harness for that, obviously. That would be a lot of money and expense. So my next thing here, how about some wind, is to see what I can do about maybe removing either this bottom bracket to put it in, or the seat cover itself to be able to replace the front seat.